This is probably not a leading a news show type of stories, but you know what? I think it's important just to see the cultural shift. The Vikings, the football team from Minnesota, the Minnesota Vikings, have new cheerleaders. Unfortunately, it's not that. I mean, they still have some of those, but there's two dudes now on the Minnesota cheer and dance team because you know what NFL fans are just clamoring for? Show me dudes shaking their booties and provocative manners in between the timeouts and the TV commercial breaks. That's what all of the American football fans want. Of course, I kid. That's pure sarcasm. I don't know who wants this or why the Minnesota Vikings thought that this would be a good idea. There's two dudes on the Minnesota Vikings cheerleading team, but I think I'm burying the lead here. I think the big thing that we all need to discuss here is the fact that neither one of those two dudes is Tim Walz, a man who I believe has been training to be a cheerleader his entire life. We all remember his waves, his unimaginably animated arms every time he was in front of a TV camera or an audience. I think we need to seek justice for Timmy here. Minnesota Vikings, do what is right. Make little Timmy's dreams come true and make Tim Walz the third male member, and I use the term male loosely, of the Minnesota Vikings cheer and dance team. Here to comment on that and share their thoughts about judging the moment is celebrity chef Andrew Gruel and Turning Point contributor and Frontlines reporter Savannah Hernandez. Guys, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate you taking the time.
Thanks for having us, Joe Bob.
Andrew, I know you were foaming at the mouth there because you just love to see the NFL catering to an audience that doesn't exist. I don't know. Am I wrong? Like, is there an audience out there that wants one? It's hard to really make the case for cheerleaders as a whole. Like, you're there to watch a football game, but if you're going to have them, I don't know. Is there an audience there for this?
I think the audience is the cheerleading audience. So they looked at this as kind of a win-win because on the one hand, it really pays attention to the cheerleaders. So they figured that this would go and fly under the radar. But the people who do pay attention are the cheerleaders themselves who probably are okay with this in general. I didn't even realize there was like a huge cheerleader agency within the NFL. I think conservatives have to be careful here, though, because you can't keep canceling. That's something the left does, right? Like, for example, my restaurants, they'll be like, we're boycotting your restaurant. And I'm like, you guys boycotted me 20 times over the last year. Like, you can only do it once. And the right has boycotted the NFL on multiple occasions. So I think at this point, when they're like, we're boycotting NFL, it's like, well, come on, guys. We were boycotting the NFL for the past 5 years. So let's just like let lying dogs lie. Let's ignore the entire thing. Generally speaking, male cheerleaders, I actually thought there were male cheerleaders, but they were like typically the burly, like strong men that act as the sockle underneath a lot of the moves when they were tossing the women up and down. Once again, I'm a novice in the world of speaking cheerleader language. However, I once again doesn't really kind of move my dial, if you will, when it comes to cultural or hot topic conversations.
Interesting fun fact. I did not know that about you, that you weren't a cheerleading aficionado. I assumed that was the case, but good to know. Sav, I think that's actually a pretty good point. You know, you can't keep canceling everybody like, oh, people are mad. I do, though, think if I were to push back a little bit, like I think you should make fun of it. You should mock it and make as many jokes as you can about it. But really, what I'm seeking is justice for Governor Tim Walz. The man wants to be a cheerleader, at least in my opinion, as bad as anybody wants anything. Savannah, do you think that Governor Tim Walz will overcome being left off the roster of the Minnesota Vikings cheerleading squad?
Well, you know, he's busy trying to lead Minnesota, Joe Bob, all right, doing such a great job. I mean, we truly missed out having him as our vice president. He would have been so swell, let me tell you, okay? Every day would have been jazz hands. Now, something that I do want to note, because as an on-the-ground journalist, I actually just got back from Minnesota. And what I will say, Joe Bob, because every single time I see these stories, I'm like, who asked for this? You got to take the demographic of Minnesota into consideration. Their entire state is filled with liberals. So 10 out of 10, they see this and they love it. So what I want Americans to understand is the people of Minnesota love this type of stuff. And this is absolutely playing to their gigantic gay liberal audience. And I don't mean that in a disparaging way. Everybody there is extremely gay and liberal. Every single church has a gay flag on it. And I think I found the maybe 3 or 4 conservatives that live in the entire state. They wouldn't even go on camera because they're like, yeah, we're basically in hiding here. Our entire lives are going to be ruined if people know that we're conservative. So again, the population of Minnesota very much asking for this type of stuff. So not surprising to see.
Yeah, it's also a good point. I think that yeah, if their demographic wants it, fine, go give it to them. Again, doesn't mean that I can't make fun of it.